Welcome to the next episode of Revolutionary Talk. We're on to our next episode in our Wellness Downfall series. We're talking about poor habits. Chris, what do you got?
I'd say my poorest habit that doesn't bring me a lot of money is I don't like to start working until about noon. And that's been something I've never been somebody who's like hit the ground running in the morning. I've always been like, all right, let's wake up. Let's take 2 hours to really come into reality. And then from there, we hit the ground running. So, in kind of adapting that, instead of like rushing to get to work in the morning, I used to work out, but then now I'm really not feeling the working out in the morning. So I kind of do a bunch of like self-care until noon hits. Then noon's here and I'm like, let's get to work. Let's start getting the gears going.
Interesting. Yeah, man. I think, and it might have to do with your case as well. I don't really get my creativity till the afternoon. So with your line of work,
it's funny you say that. There's not many times in the morning I feel really creative unless I'm some kind of like travel videos. I love to do those in the morning. Something about the sunrise. But then most of the time my creativity comes at nighttime. It's almost like the sun sets and then just like, oh, creativity's here. Let's have some fun. And that's what I've seen myself working more at night than the morning. And if I hit that wave at like midnight, I'm not going to get up at 7 a.m. So, you know.
Interesting. Yeah, eventually you're just going to turn nocturnal.
Yeah.
That'll be how it is.
You got to flip every now and then.
What about you?
I'm going to say I have two on occasion. This
Okay.
kind of happens. Well, one happens more frequently than I'd like to admit, but just killing a lot of time on social media.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Bad habit.
I do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's days that I catch myself scrolling and just mindlessly looking at content.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I try to direct it, I put my phone down.
So, I mean, I like to scroll through it in a healthy, amount of time where it gives me a chance to get inspiration.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That's a good way to twist it.
But it's easy to lose track of your time doing it too.
Yeah, that is true.
And then the other one is if I'm on a roll, like at night, and I get going to bed a little bit later than what I usually do, my body is like, wake up, usually at a certain time in the morning.
Yeah.
And so that can be a bad habit also if I keep myself up late.
So no matter what time you go to bed, it's like bright and early.
Yeah. On the days that I used to be able to go to bed and then sleep until 10 o'clock, those are gone.
Yeah. That's what I love, to sleep till 10 o'clock. But sometimes it does feel like the less productive days, but the more productive nights.
Yes. Definitely will depend on the day.
Yeah, do you have any poor habits?
Well,
You're sitting over here.
No, I have.
Intervening
I have
us.
some. Man, lately it's such a common one. I feel like it's just the snooze button, and like, oh my gosh, I swear it either doesn't work or I just sleep through it, and it just sets me behind in the day, which makes me so mad, and I'm literally like PO'd all morning trying to catch up, like trying to hit to the gym real quick, and then I get like a 20-minute workout versus an hour workout, which makes me more mad, and I'm just like this rage all morning trying to catch up. So it all starts with the first thing in the morning, but so I've been trying to break that. I was good today. Hopefully this week continues.
Yeah, keep it going. That's the tough one. That snooze button is very big in the morning.
Yeah.
They need to make it a little smaller on the phones maybe, so it's harder to hit.
Yeah.
So on those days that happens though, you're saying like you get, frustrated and stuff throughout the morning. Is that like literally how the rest of your day is? Or do you find a point where you're able to like reset yourself from those things that, started at that morning?
At some point I am able to reset. It's weird. I don't have like one trigger thing to like fix it. So maybe that's something to find too. Ideally though, I'm just better about getting up first thing. But no, that's the thing. I have to find some reset, like whether I catch up on some projects and I feel good, like, okay, well, I kind of made up for some lost time here. And then, the afternoon I'm in better shape. Or sometimes it leads to a longer work day, which...
That's punishment in itself sometimes.
Yeah, and so I'm just getting punished on the back end of it, but at least everything's getting done, and I just lose some of my evening, which is frustrating too. But
On a perfect day, what time do you wake up if you got a lot of work to do?
about 5:30.
So if you want to hit the snooze button, what if you set it for 4:30? You got to hit that snooze button for an hour.
No, I could. My wife would love it. I'm just
Yeah, she'd probably be a little mad.
tapping the snooze
It'd be a little
button every
difficult.
10 minutes.
What time do you try to go to bed at?
So that's the weird thing is
I'd say
we're
that-
pretty consistent about going to bed at a good time. Like 10:30, I'm in bed.
That's good.
Yeah, that's
So-
really good.
I'm in shape to get, about 7 hours in, but it's some weird mental hurdle first thing. to
Maybe
just
the
get up.
humans aren't just meant to be awake at that hour. I don't
Yeah.
know.
They say that's the club though they get in is that 5:30 club or 5 a.m. club, but
Yeah.
I mean I think that's also like an entrepreneur like thing that they're like I was successful because I woke up at 5:30 and I'm over here like watch this I'm gonna be successful starting my work day at noon because there's not an X amount of window that I feel like I have to work in. It's almost like how can I make my day? I mean sometimes that's like my poor habit is I have so much free time and room that it takes that discipline to stay. And sometimes I'll be working for a couple hours and be like, I got plenty of time. And then one procrastination activity or like break leads to 20 more. And now I'm starting my work day at like 7 p.m. But then I'm like kind of you and it's like, oh crap, now I got to work late tonight just to like compensate for it.
Gosh, I think it's kind of interesting. Bringing up the topic of poor habits, there are obviously a lot of different ways you can go about it, but I think ours are more of like mental related. They're not as much, tied to like exercise or things like that, which might be different than.
I mean, we all
a lot
are
of people.
entrepreneurs, so
Yeah.
we're all endlessly
Makes sense.
drained. I think a key though is like no matter what your poor habit is, you can always like flip it around to make it more advantageous, for everything you do. Because like yours, you like to hit snooze. Well, set yourself up so that you get to hit snooze. Now you don't get to sleep in an extra hour, but now it's kind of an annoyance.
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, let's cut that out. Let's just get up at the first one at 5:30 now.
Yeah.
Work backwards.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and then thinking on yours, I know I used to scroll through social a lot, and it, of course, for me too, like a lot of client work and stuff I do is through my phone.
Yeah.
So then that'll lead me to being distracted, and I have to get on there. So how I kind of broke this was giving myself a time of day I need to be done working. So, like going back to sometimes I would feel punished by finishing the day too late, but if I set a time I have to be done, then I can't be distracting myself with things throughout the day because there's a cutoff and I have to get my work done. So then
I've done something similar. I try to make sure that I work like 5 hours a day now, no matter what I do. So it's like instead of setting a time of being done at like 5 p.m., I have to hit 5 hours a day. So if I want to get it all done, I can sprint. If I got stuff and I'm not feeling productive, like let's do 2 hours, let's take a break. Know that we got 3 at some point before midnight hits or whenever my window is.
I like that.
Yeah, and I've got a checklist that I have prepared for each day, so
Yes,
that's
same.
how I'm productive.
Yeah.
Like, boom, boom, boom. Mark through the checklist. All right, got those done. I may get that done in an hour or two and have the whole day, rest of the day available to do whatever I want. Or some days, depending on what it is, it may take longer. But
That's probably
Got
one
it
of
done.
the best habits I've got is just write down like, all right, here's my priorities of the day. Put them on paper. It's like so much fun just to cross them
Yes.
off.
Yes.
I love checklists.
Yeah.
you just
There's something about it like
too.
just like dopamine.
Yeah.
Now that's a good habit for anything. If you write something down, you're so much more likely to complete it.
Yeah.
Is you don't want to leave that box unchecked. It's
Yeah.
so frustrating. Can't let it happen.
Yeah.
Any other final takeaways on this one for poor habits?
Create good habits.
Yeah. Turn your poor habits into
Yes.
good habits,
Think about becoming aware of everything that you're doing, throughout your day. Just really hone in on the activities rather than just float through them like I know I've tended to do before. So,
Yeah.
and then that's a good way to really figure out what is worth spending time on and energy on rather than not.
I like it. Good stuff. Hopefully you guys start to flip those poor habits, turn them into positives. And next week, stay tuned. We're going to be talking about bad influences. So like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.